You're listening to Strange by Nature, your guide to the strange, weird, unbelievable, and improbable wonders of the natural world.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for being here today. I'm Kirk Mona, and joining me are Rachel Gimza and Victoria Thompson. We're all naturalists who together have scoured the world for weird and wonderful wonders, just to please your mammalian brain's desire for novelty. Isn't that nice? Let's do this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Victoria.
Rachel. It's just us two again this week.
Yeah, it is. Woohoo! We're having
Kirk's
a
out
party.
having fun, but we're gonna have fun without him.
In the Mediterranean.
How dare you?
Ugh, I know, so rude. But I'm excited because I get to hang out with you, though, Victoria.
Absolutely. We have a great show this week. We have some fun stuff to talk about. At least I have some fun stuff. I assume you have some fun stuff, Rachel.
I do. Might be groaning moments as well, so it'll be great.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I start us off this week. Rachel, have you ever seen The Omen or any of its sequels? Horror movie from the 70s?
So here's the thing. Yeah. I have not, for many, many reasons. I know a little bit about it, but the problem with this, and I'm sure Kirk has seen it, but I don't do well with horror movies. Yeah. That's like one movie kind of genre. I'll do it every once in a while, but then I have to watch something nice and lighthearted right after. But I will jump at every single jump scare, and I will be absolutely terrified and hiding behind a pillow or a person. I had friends in college who were watching, oh gosh, what was it? It was the witchy one with the found footage.
The Blair Witch Project?
Yeah, the Blair Witch Project. They were watching it. They weren't even paying attention, and I was trying not to, and I couldn't help but watch it, and I was so scared the entire time, and my friends are all like, nah, it's fine, it's whatever, and I'm horrified the entire time. Yeah. So I have not seen it, what it comes down to.
I'm kind of similar, actually. I do sometimes watch horror movies. I like the more psychological ones better than the really gory ones, but I actually have also not seen The Omen, but I've been vaguely aware of it as kind of a cultural trope.
Yeah, is that the one with no, that's The Ring. The one with the girl who comes out of the TV.
Yeah.
That's The Ring. Okay, never mind.
So the very short outline of the story is that there's a couple, their child dies shortly after birth, but the mother doesn't know it. The hospital staff, yes. Well, they take the baby away and then it dies, supposedly. The hospital staff convince the father substitute a different newborn whose mother just died in childbirth. And so he does this without telling the wife. Okay?
Okay.
Needless to say, the replacement child, named Damien, does that name ring a bell?
Okay. No.
Okay, well.
Feels like a demon. Damien,
yes,
demon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Grows up to be an evil killer. In fact, the Antichrist child.
There it is. It is. The Antichrist. Beautiful. Awful.
I started thinking about this somewhat cheesy film when I chose this week's topic, which is the brown-headed cowbird.
What a wild intro. Hey, I'm going to talk about one of the scariest movies out there that everybody loves, even if it's cheesy. Oh, by the way, I'm talking about this parasitic bird. Oh my gosh. Amazing. I love this, Victoria, so much. Oh my gosh. I actually just talked about this with a bunch of folks somewhat recently, actually, just because I was doing a bird table and they were wondering about they've had this couple, this family came up and showed me this picture, and they're like, of this nest, and they're like, do you know what eggs these are? What bird this came from? Which, for anyone who doesn't know, is the hardest thing you could possibly ask any sort of naturalist.
Impossible.
That is its own level of difficulty, as well as its own brand of science. Just studying nests and then just studying eggs. I was very proud of myself, though, because I was able to figure out that they had 2 different types of eggs in that nest. One were bright blue and clearly were robins. That was one egg that I knew, and since the other one looked different, I was able to figure out it was a cowbird. So that was really cool. But
robins are the ones I can identify too, so
right?
I'm right there with you.
They went in and they showed me the picture. I'm like, oh, thank God. I actually do know this. Oh my gosh. Okay, tell us about cowbirds. They're so cool.
Yes, so just in case some of our listeners are probably not familiar with them, they're quite common in Minnesota and much of North America. They're about in between the size of a house sparrow and an American robin. They have a thick pinch-like beak. The males are a glossy iridescent black with a brown head. Quite an attractive bird, really.
They're really pretty.
Yeah, they're pretty. And the females are inconspicuous, brownish gray, streaky, kind of little brown jobs.
Yeah. They kind of hang out with other blackbirds quite often too, so they can be hard to spot.
They eat mostly insects. They like to hang out near cattle, hence the name, and they prey on the insects stirred up as the cattle walk through the grass, also eat some seeds. Before cattle were brought to North America, it's thought that they were mainly confined to the Great Plains, where they followed bison herds. And scientists believe that this nomadic lifestyle led to their most notable thing about them, which Rachel has alluded to, which is that they are a brood parasite.
Yeah, they are.
Yes,
what like little demons.
Like the more famous cuckoos of Eurasia, they'll lay their eggs in the nests of other songbirds and leave them to be raised by foster parents.
Oh, cool.
And as with the case of Damien, the demon child, this is a bad deal for the adoptive parents.
Yeah.
Since it often leads to their own chicks dying or being neglected. Unlike cuckoos, cuckoo chicks, cowbird chicks don't usually directly kill or push their nestmates out, but they are total drama queens with their begging behavior. They have very loud, insistent begging call, and they're very aggressive in trying to get food. So they tend to get more attention and food from their foster parents. And basically the cowbird chicks outcompete the foster,
the regular birds.
Chicks, yeah.
Whatever the birds, the eggs that are supposed to be there.
And they parasitize approximately 226 different species.
Which is wild, because I feel like most would be very specific to only a handful of birds, not 200 species of birds.
Yeah.
Insane.
Take whatever nest they can find, I guess. Of course, not all the foster parents are so easily duped. It's going to be highly advantageous evolutionarily to be able to detect and kick out foreign eggs. So, for example, yellow warblers will often bury the egg under other nest materials where it will not survive. Blue-gray gnatcatchers will sometimes just straight up abandon their whole nest. The cowbird egg appears and try again elsewhere.
Which is I'm gonna give this up as lost. That's so ecologically expensive to do.
Yeah, it's very expensive for them. Brown thrashers and gray catbirds will kick the eggs out, eject them if they notice them. But again, these are not 100% successful strategies. So even some of these species that I mentioned will sometimes wind up raising a cowbird chick.
I mean, they have to. They're still pretty healthy populations.
Oh, very.
As far as I know. So they definitely still exist.
Adult cowbirds have also some fascinating adaptations to get around the nesting parents. So first of all, this blew my mind. Female cowbirds are incredibly fast egg layers. Makes sense if you think about it. They can pop one of these out, pop an egg out in 41 seconds.
What?
Ouch. Whereas,
that sounds painful. Oh, man.
Just for comparison, most other songbirds would take 20 to 100 minutes to lay an egg.
Oh no. That's so fast. I mean, it totally makes sense, but that's oh wow. Ow, that would hurt.
You would think. They can also lay up to 40 eggs in a season, which is a lot. A lot
That's
of eggs.
that is so many 40 eggs in 41 seconds. Oh my.
Well, no.
That's
Not
no,
40
no
eggs
well
in
yeah,
41 seconds.
41 seconds each.
Oh, yes.
40 eggs.
Yes.
Oh
Presumably
my
they
gosh.
take a break in between each.
I would hope so. That's so many eggs. Like a common clutch size is like 6.
They also have a pretty short incubation time of 10 to 11 days, which can sometimes let them hatch before the host's eggs and therefore gain an advantage, size, and food.
That's nuts.
I mentioned that cowbird chicks don't usually push out their nestmates, but sometimes the cowbird mom will do it for them. So,
what?
Yeah.
Mom's coming in for the win.
Yeah, so cowbird moms actually don't just drop an egg and forget about it. They actually come back to nest several times after they've laid an egg to keep an eye on it. And if the foster parents get rid of the cowbird egg, the male cowbird will sometimes display what is called, literally, they call this mafia behavior. So she will go full vengeance and destroy the host's eggs and sometimes hatchlings. Sometimes even like picking them up and taking them some distance from the nest and dropping them.
I mean, you get rid of my baby, I get rid of your babies.
Right? So there's the revenge factor, I guess, but it also makes the host really have to start the whole nesting process again, which gives the cowbird another chance to parasitize the nest.
Yeah. Yeah. Wild. Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes they will feed their own nestlings, actually, in the host nest, while, of course, ignoring the host chicks.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. The host chicks are not completely helpless, though. So, for example, some song sparrow chicks will increase their begging calls and behavior to successfully compete with the cowbird chick for attention and feeding.
Okay. Cool.
One thing that I wanted to talk about that I find really fascinating, though, is how cowbirds learn to be cowbirds.
Yeah, because like, how do they know this? I mean, I actually do know about this a little bit, but like, how do they find their siblings, their other cowbirds? How do they know to be cowbirds versus a robin?
Exactly. Most birds have what's called imprinting, which is an instinct that, so shortly after birth, there's what's considered a critical period. So during this time, basically, whatever moving object the baby bird sees becomes what it imprints on. The imprinting that tells it, like, this is who I need to follow, this is what I am, this is what I should mate with when I grow up. Like, it tells it what kind of species it is and how it learns.
Right.
Several of the nature centers that I and you have worked at have raptors that are held in captivity because they had imprinted on humans instead of their own species, which is very sad, and that's made them unable to survive in the wild.
Right.
I look at that kind of situation and I'm like, well, how the heck cowbird learning to be a cowbird instead of a blue-gray gnatcatcher or whatever.
Right.
So, and side note, this is one of the reasons that it's important to leave baby birds alone, even if you find them out of the nest, seemingly abandoned. Yep. First of all, they're probably not abandoned. Second of all,
they're
just
probably fledglings.
Let them be.
Yep.
Okay, so, but with cowbirds, obviously they can't be imprinting on white-throated sparrows or whatever, because then they would be trying to mate with them when they grow up and not with other cowbirds. And that would be a really poor survival strategy as a species. Yeah. So it seems that the imprinting instinct is actually just turned off in cowbird chicks. Instead, they have a drive to leave their foster nest pretty quickly, and they are apparently attracted to the sounds of adult female cowbirds chattering that they do.
Okay.
In addition, juvenile cowbirds all resemble females, whether they're male or female, so they probably are also looking for birds that look like them. And so then they start hanging out with other birds. It's literally birds of a feather flock together. They look like each other. They start hanging out and learning from, I guess, some of these adult females that they are following around a little bit more about being a cowbird.
Yeah. Okay.
It's also protection for them because as you can imagine, brown-headed cowbirds aren't very popular with many other species and get attacked on sight often.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really just like a really fascinating little corner of the bird world that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. It's so wild.
Sadly, so I mentioned that the original range of the cowbird, we think, just followed the bison. But with the coming of European settlers, like obviously cattle are more widespread than bison. And also these are birds that they don't like deep forests. They like forest edges, broken up woodlands, stuff like that. Well, guess what we do a lot of? Break up a lot of woodlands.
Yeah.
We've created a huge amount of habitat for these birds. And unfortunately, it has had really bad effects on a lot of other songbird species.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are, in fact, a problem for some other species. On the other hand, like there have been some experiments with trying to reduce cowbird populations in certain areas, and it tends to kind of backfire because the cowbirds that are left just like get more active and lay more eggs.
Rough. Yeah.
So we're to blame. It's not their fault. They're just doing the behavior that they were born to do, but not having very good effects.
They're trying. They're just doing what they all do, right?
Yeah, they're not evil. Yeah. They're not the Antichrist. They're not a demon child. They're just part of nature, and because of some other stuff that really is humans' fault, it's not having a good effect.
Whoops.
All right. That's all I have. My sources this week were a New York Times article from very recently, July 3rd, 2025, about how some recent research on how cowbirds learn. The article is by Elizabeth Preston. Also, there was a really good page on Animal Diversity Web, lots of information about them, and I got a little bit of information.
Cool.
We are going to take a short break. Yeah, of course. We're going to take a short break, and when we get back, it'll be Rachel.
All right. Welcome back, everybody.
Hey.
Hope you all enjoyed the break. Hey, Victoria.
Yes, Rachel.
Why did the skunk cross the road?
Oh. To find something delicious to eat?
To get to the odor side.
Oh, no.
I know. That joke really
terrible. Stinks. That stinks. Yes, it's
So not as much as my topic does, though, today. I'm not gonna lie. I was writing that intro, and I was just like, I was cackling at myself because those are all so bad. It's great. Okay, so let's talk about skunks. Skunks. So we have touched base on skunks here and there. I think you talked a little bit about them when talking about smells and things forever ago, but we haven't dedicated any time to skunks, and they do deserve their time in the limelight here on the show. So Absolutely. Let's talk about them. Oh, they're so cool. Skunks are pretty common. I feel like most people know what a skunk looks like. Famously, there's a cartoon called Pepe Le Pew. That might be a fun throwback for people, but a fun cartoon skunk. So I feel like they've been pretty portrayed in the media, and they definitely get a bad rap because of how they smell. And we'll get into that.
Sure. Yes.
So skunks were once thought to be within the weasel family, and it turns out they are not. They're kind of
really?
related. I know,
I
right?
know that.
I didn't know that until I was researching skunks. So this is more recent. They're kind of related. They're still in the carnivore family, but they're actually within their own family. They're more like distantly related than you would think that they are. They're in like the super family of Mustelidae, but they are within their own little family called Mephistidae. Sure, we're gonna go with it. Mephistidae. There's a T in there. Anyway, so they are related, but they're also like more distantly related. They're their own family, and what is in that family are the 10 skunks and the stink badgers, which are not badgers. Yeah, they live. Those guys are in the Philippines and Indonesia, versus skunks in general are actually all in the American continent, both in North and South American continents. Okay. So they're found throughout all of that. They're mostly found in woodlands. They're nocturnal species, more crepuscular than anything, but they hang out in the woods. That's where they can be found. And not so much the broken woodlands and things. They like having pretty designated woodland spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I was researching, I was like, what do you mean they're not part of the weasel family? I thought they were. Nope. They are and they aren't. It's a wild thing, and genetics is wild. So these mammals, they are pretty low to the ground. For those who don't know what a skunk looks like, they're low to the ground, about the size of a house cat. So my cat Merlin, he's 13 pounds, and that would be about the size of a skunk, actually, which is wild. They are quadrupeds, so they are four-legged animals. They're pretty short and low to the ground. They have strong, short legs, and they kind of waddle. That is the scientific term of how they walk. Is they're waddlers, which is very fun. Like I said, there are 10 different species of skunk. Most of the time, when you picture a skunk, you picture like this black body with 2 white stripes going from the head all the way down its back, up through the tail. But they can look different. They can be, obviously, we can find albino skunks, but they also can be brown. They can be a cream color. They can be ginger, which is so fun. And some don't have stripes at all. Some are spotted.
I have seen pictures of spotted skunks. They're very cute.
They're so cute. But overall, generally, they have this really thick fur with some sort of warning coloration hanging out on them. So, Victoria, you just talked about counter shading in the last episode. This is another type of mimicry and like camouflage, except it's the opposite of that. It's like, hey, don't mess with me, kind of coloring for animals to be able to be like, I'm gonna avoid that guy over there, kind of thing, for good reason. So, generally, a skunk is anywhere from 18 when they're an adult. They can be anywhere from 8 to 19 inches long, and that's their head and their body. And then their tail itself can be 5 to 15 inches long on its own. So their tail can be as long as their body, which wild, but kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So skunks are pretty cool. Like I said, they are crepuscular. They hang out, what that means is they hang out in the dawn and dusk time periods, and they generally hang out by themselves. They don't really congregate unless it's like in the winter, in which case they will all some females will den up together in a ground den in a burrow, which is really cool. I did find one of those once up north, really? And it was really, there were no skunks around. I did not see a skunk. I was hoping to see maybe a skunk, but I did not see one. But I was able to find where they were burrowing, and that was cool enough to find. It was very fun. So yeah, so they are able to do quite a bit. They can range, males especially will have like big home range of, they can travel up to 4 to 5 miles every night looking and trying to find female skunks to breed with, which is a lot of miles to cover when you are relatively small and have little low legs. But the biggest thing that most people know about skunks is that they smell. All right.
Yes, people do know that.
People do know that. Now, why would they do that? And why do they have this coloration? Well, it all goes into a defense mechanism. So a way for them to be able to prevent animals from eating them, right? So skunks have this ability. They do a couple different things before they use this. They might stomp and grunt at you. So they're going to give plenty of warning to be able to, before they do anything. But they will stomp at you, they'll grunt at you. And if you don't do, like, back away and give them space, what a skunk will do is they will hold themselves up on their front legs. They will like fold themselves over in like a U shape, so that way their butt is facing forward. Another way that they try to show like, hey, don't mess with me, is they'll raise their tail vertically as well. Yeah. But if none of that works, they will fold themselves over, so that way their butt and their face are forward.
It's like an extreme yoga pose.
It pretty much, they turn themselves into a U. Their whole body is on the front two paws. So they're doing a handstand while holding their body. And then if that doesn't scare you enough when you see that happen, the skunk will spray directly into eyes. That is where they are aiming. They're very good aim. They have very good aim, which is a wild thing when it's these anal like smell glands in their butt that they are able to use to get them to spray. And they can spray, I saw anywhere from 10 to 12 feet away from themselves, which is much further away than I expected them to be able to do.
That's pretty far.
That's at about 3 meters away.
Now, Rachel, I read recently that only some skunk species do like the full handstand. Did you find anything on that? Like,
yes. So some species will do a full handstand and just spray that way. Most of them are able to do. Most of them will try to do that U shape, but some of them will just do a full handstand. Some actually even like dance around a little bit before they spray you as like a warning, which I think is kind of fun. It's like, hey, don't mess with me, I'm in a dance battle kind of moment. And if you don't walk away from their challenge, then they will spray you and you will stink. Yeah, absolutely wild. Now, most animals, like most predators, actually will avoid skunks because of that spray. In their anal glands where they hold, they can spray 5 to 6 times, which is a lot. However, if they use all of that spray up, it takes up to 10 days for them to refill those glands. So they are pretty vulnerable if they go through all of that spray.
That's why they go through so many steps to try to get you to go away before spraying.
Exactly. It takes a lot out of them to be able to do that. Now, I mentioned that they spray at 3 meters or 10 to 12 feet, right? So that, and I haven't even described what it smells like, but what's wild about the fact that they're able to do that and have like really good accuracy to aim for like parts of the predator's body, like the eyes. Yeah. they have terrible eyesight. Like they can only see 10 feet in front of them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the fact that that is the edge of what they can see as an animal, clearly. And they're able to accurately find the eyes of a creature. Wild. Okay. So what does it smell like? So they have these two glands on either side of their anus. And that spray is actually like a combination of sulfur chemicals, which is why it smells so bad.
Yeah.
They have thiols, which produce most of the smell. It also horrifyingly makes the skunk spray flammable. So that's awful. I don't love that. Yeah, so but because of the combination of like the chemicals within the spray and those thiols, those sulfur containing chemicals, it's so strong it can ward off bears and like humans who do not have the best sense of smell can smell skunk 3.5 miles downwind.
Yeah.
So we can smell it, and we don't have strong sense of smell for 3.5 miles. So everybody else can smell it way further than that. So that's a really powerful stink. And it smells very sulfurous.
Yeah.
Sulfurous? Yeah.
Oof. I've never been sprayed by a skunk, luckily, or actually, I'm not even sure if I've seen one in person, but I certainly remember from taking like road trips as a kid. If there had been a skunk that had been killed as roadkill, you would smell it.
You absolutely can, yeah.
Yeah.
So the spray also is really irritant and doesn't only smell bad, but it also irritates like the skin and the area that it hits. And if they get your eyes, it can cause temporary blindness, which is pretty effective to be able to get away. I wouldn't want to get hit by this in the slightest.
I will say, like, just a tiny bit of skunk smell, I don't mind. Like, if there's a little bit of the breeze, not bad.
It's okay.
A lot up close would be not good.
Yeah. So it's pretty noxious. It's pretty bad. But the fact is they're generally pretty chill. They don't want to spray you as much as possible. They don't live super long in the wild. They can live up to like 4 years. They generally, like you mentioned, Victoria, they generally get hit a lot by cars because they can only see about 10 feet in front of them. They're out around dusk when we historically don't have the best vision in driving. So they can't, when they're black and white, so they're harder for us to see as drivers as well. Some animals actually don't care if some animals don't really care that they smell and will still go after them. Like a lot of great horned owls will still eat skunks. It's wild. Now, the thing is, I bet you all are like, well, you can get rid of that. Just take a tomato soup bath. Don't do that.
Don't do that?
That's false. You don't do that. In order to get rid of the smell of skunk, should you or your dog, which is very, very common, unfortunately, that
dogs
smell
are really dumb about skunks.
They really are. Because it can stay on the target for like whatever they like are spraying for days after, which isn't advantageous at all for most animals, right? If you are in the unfortunate position and you have to get the odor off, tomato juice will not neutralize the odor. Okay. It only looks like it works and smells like it works because your nose can't deal with the smell anymore and just it gets used to it. Okay. if you want to get rid of it, there's a recipe. The Humane Society of the United States has a recipe. It involves hydrogen peroxide, baking soda, and liquid dish soap. And those combinations help to neutralize the thiols and other chemicals within the skunk spray that actually allows it to, stop it from smelling. So, yeah. But that's what I have for everybody today. Skunks. They're so fun. Leave them alone. They really won't spray you all that much. Give them a good distance, and they'll just eat whatever they want and hang out. So that's what I got for y'all today. Thanks everybody for listening. I think that's it because Kirk isn't here, but he'll be back next week. So until then, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Thanks everyone for listening to today's show. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes drop every Wednesday, and we love sharing this strange world with all our listeners. If you would be so kind as to leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts, that would be great. It lets other lovers of the strange discover the show. You can reach us by searching for Strange by Nature Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky. You can send us an email as well. Our address is contact@strangebynaturepodcast.com. If you want more information about the show, you can check out our website, strangebynaturepodcast.com, and you can support the show and get ad-free episodes at patreon.com/strangebynature. Until next week, get outside, stay curious, and embrace the strange.